Today, we're going to rescue this metal hulk and transform it into a 40mm exhibition piece. I'll walk you through the entire workflow, from digitizing the miniature to preparing the file for resin printing, and of course, the full painting process. To clone this model, I'm using the Revopoint MINI 2 scanner, a blue light scanner specifically designed for capturing small objects with high precision. Because the metal surface is reflective and can confuse the scanner, a useful trick is to apply a coat of matte varnish. This removes the shine, makes the surface opaque, and allows the scanner to capture the geometry correctly. When placing the miniature on the turntable, pay close attention to the software, as it indicates the optimal working distance. I also recommend using a plain background to prevent the scanner from picking up unwanted elements. What I like most about this process is how intuitive it is. I scan a full rotation, pause, adjust the angle of the miniature to capture more detail. For example, the head or the underside of the hands, and then resume scanning. The software automatically aligns the different passes, making the workflow smooth and efficient. This allows us to reposition the miniature freely and capture the maximum level of detail. Once the scan is complete, we get a point cloud that initially looks noisy and lacking detail. To refine it, we use the Merge Points tool, which in about a minute generates an initial mesh very close to the original miniature. At this stage, there will still be unwanted artifacts. I use the isolation tool to remove floating particles automatically and then manually clean up any remaining imperfections using the lasso tool. Once the model is clean, the key step is meshing. Here we define the resolution. The smaller the value, the higher the detail, but also the larger the file size. Since I plan to print this in resin at a small scale, I set it to 0.05 millimeters to ensure good quality. We use the Close Holes function. The software automatically detects open areas and allows us to seal them with a single click. The result is not perfect, but more than sufficient for our needs. At this point, we have a clean, printable mesh ready to export as an STL file. Once I had the file, I contacted my friend Joe Skynet, who for me is one of the best printers in the world, and I always trust him for this type of work. I'll leave you his networks in the description. The result is a resin copy with a definition that surpasses the original due to scale. All that's left is to sand it and prime it. To start working, I gave it a coat of black AK spray primer. This will serve as a base so that the colors adhere well and do not peel off easily. And now we move on to the most labor-intensive part of the process, painting. I start the skin with a dark, cool green base color. The paint is slightly diluted so that it flows well without losing coverage. I apply a couple of thin coats until the surface is completely smooth and even. For this project, I've chosen a dual temperature lighting scheme. Warmer tones for the front, using more saturated yellowish greens, and cooler tones for the back, using more desaturated bluish greens. This creates a strong chromatic contrast that makes the miniature more visually interesting. Once the main volumes are defined with the initial highlights, the process becomes much more intuitive. From here, it's about progressively lightening the color while reducing the size of the brushstrokes. This allows the light to concentrate into increasingly smaller points. It is essential to maintain consistency with the lighting scheme. Warm tones are always reserved for the front, while cooler tones are used on the back. To avoid harsh transitions between colors, I work with glazes. This simply means using the same color, but heavily diluted with water so it becomes semi-transparent and allows the underlying layers to show through. In some larger areas, I even rely on the airbrush to finish blending the gradients and achieve a perfectly smooth finish. With the lights already well established, it's time to bring the skin to life so that it becomes more chromatically rich and visually engaging. This is where nuances come into play. I introduce purple tones into the shadow areas to increase depth, while in the mid-tones closer to the light, I work with orange and yellow hues. These warm tones are reserved exclusively for the front area, reinforcing the ambient lighting effect that I'm aiming for. Finally, I push the maximum highlights further until I achieve enough contrast for the miniature to truly stand out. If you want to see the full painting process, you can find the complete, detailed tutorial on my Patreon. Additionally, members at the clan level have access to the STL file of this Hulk, so you can print it and follow the entire process yourself. To finish the face, I paint the eyes and teeth using the same tone as the final highlights. For the eyes, I add a small green dot to suggest the iris, and inside it, a tiny white point to simulate the reflection and bring the gaze to life. The hair is a simple but effective process. I lighten black with a bit of laser yellow to create a greenish gray, and with it, I paint fine lines to simulate the texture of the hair. As I continue to lighten the mix, I reduce the size of the strokes to create a natural, controlled shine. The shirt follows the same logic. I start with a solid base coat that evenly covers the surface, and from there I build the highlights, using a warmer white on the front and a cooler white on the back. The goal is to maintain consistency in the lighting scheme. The same applies to the pants. As expected, Hulk's pants are purple, so I begin with a neutral, relatively dark base tone. For the highlights, I follow the same approach. On the front, I use a warmer, redder purple, while on the back, I shift toward a cooler, bluer tone. From there, I continue lightening the front with slightly yellowish tones to maintain that sense of warmth. While on the back, I introduce ivory, bringing it closer to a cooler, desaturated light. At each step, I reduce the size of the highlights to build a controlled gradient. To keep the transition smooth, I apply glazes using the same color used for highlighting. I continue refining the lights until I reach a strong contrast, although always slightly less intense than what I used on the skin. And this is the final result of the miniature Hulk. As you can see, thanks to the paintwork, the figure now has a completely different presence and volume, even though structurally it is identical to the original scan. The only thing left would be to create a proper display base so it can truly shine in a showcase. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see another superhero using this same scanning and painting workflow. With that said, I'll stop rambling on now and see you in the next one.